In the previous video, we saw what do we mean by degree of a polynomial. Basically, the highest power of the variable in a given expression, in a given polynomial, is called the degree. So, degrees are non-negative integers because that's the only possibility of the powers of variable. So, based on that, we can classify polynomials as well. For example, the first possible power in a polynomial can be 0, the first non-negative integer, or it can be 1, 2, 3, and this would go on and on. So based on the classification of polynomial based on degrees, if the degree of a polynomial, if d is equal to 0, if degree is equal to 0, then the polynomial is called constant polynomial. Constant polynomial. I would just write poly for polynomial. For example, 2. 2 is a constant polynomial. Why? Because 2 I can write it as 2 times x to the power 0. Any variable to the power 0 would be equal to 1. So this is nothing but 2 times 1, which is again equal to 2. So this is a classic example of a constant polynomial. Similarly, let's say that we have 3, 4, 5 by 3, 2.6. These all are the examples of constant polynomials. So when degree is equal to 1 now, then this is called linear polynomial. Linear polynomial when the degree is 1. For example, x is a linear polynomial because the degree here is 1. Similarly, let's say that we have 2y plus 5. Here the power of the variable y is 1, and here we don't have any variable, so we can say that we can write this as 5x to the power 0 or y to the power 0, but here the degree of this polynomial would be equal to 1, hence this would be a linear polynomial. Similarly, let's say that we have 4y plus 7m. This would again be a linear polynomial because the degree of this polynomial would be equal to 1. Here we have 1 and here we have 1. So basically we have equal powers of the variable. So the degree here is 1. Hence this would be a linear polynomial. So constant polynomial, degree is equal to 0. Linear polynomial, degree is equal to 1. What about degree equal to 2? Let's say that if the degree of the polynomial is equal to 2, then such polynomials are called quadratic polynomials. And we would understand what do we mean by quadratic polynomials, what are the properties, how to find different things for quadratic polynomials in great detail later on in the chapter quadratic equations. But as of now, let's just have a basic understanding about what are actually quadratic polynomials. So when a polynomial has a degree 2, it is a quadratic polynomial. For example, x square plus 3x plus 2. So what would be the degree here? Here the power of x is 2, here the power of x is 1, and here there is no power, or we can say the power of variable x is 0. The highest available power is 2, so this is a quadratic polynomial. Similarly, let's say that we have m square minus 2. This is a quadratic polynomial because the highest available power of the variable is 2 here. So this is quadratic polynomial. Similarly, let's say that we have 42y square. This is again a quadratic polynomial. So irrespective of the number of terms available, this would be, we just have to focus on the available power of the variables to classify it according to degrees. Again, let's say that the degree is 3. If the degree is 3, then the polynomial would be called cubic polynomial. For example, 4x cube plus 3 by 2x square minus 5. So the highest available power of the variable here is 3. So this is a cubic polynomial. Let's say that we have 4m square minus 5 by 3 m square x. So this would again be a cubic polynomial because for the first term the power of the variable is 2. For the second term we have the total power here would be the addition of power of m and x, which is 2 plus 1, that is 3. So this would be a cubic polynomial. So this is how we classify polynomials based on degrees: quadratic, cubic, constant polynomial, and linear polynomial. And I hope you got a good understanding of what these polynomials are. There is one more possible classification. So these classifications are based on degrees. There is one more possibility, and I think you might have guessed it till now. If not, let me discuss that, based on the number of terms available. And before moving on to that, you might have a question here. What about degrees greater than 3? It's definitely possible. Let's say that degree is equal to 4 or 5 or 6 or even beyond this. What would such polynomials be called? So we keep all such polynomials in a similar bucket of polynomials. We basically have to go in detail about the properties of these polynomials: constant, linear, quadratic, and cubic. So that's why we have given them specific names to have a good understanding, to actually understand their properties. But beyond that, actually all of these are polynomials, but it's just that we have made them more specific. We have given them a name to actually communicate better whenever we would be dealing with their properties. So as we discussed, the classification can also be done based on number of terms. So let's say if number of terms is equal to 1. Such polynomials are known as monomials. Mono means 1, and poly, say we took mials. So if number of terms is equal to 1, such polynomials would be known as monomials. For example, 4x or 2, 5x square, 3 by 2, m to the power 37. All these polynomials have just one term. So that's why they are called monomials. Now let's say that number of terms are equal to 2. So such polynomials would be known as binomials. Binomials, bi means 2 and mials. So such polynomials which has number of terms equal to 2 are called binomials. For example, 4x plus 7m, 5x square plus 3, minus 5 by 2m to the power 42 plus of x cube. So all these polynomials have two terms. For example, here first term, second term, first term, second term, first term, second term. So such polynomials are called binomials. Similarly, if number of terms is equal to 3, we call it trinomials. Trinomials, and I think you might have guessed this till now. Tri means 3, so trinomials. For example, 4x cube minus 5x square plus 3. 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. So this is a trinomial. Similarly, let's say that we have 5 by 3m square minus of 7y to the power 9 plus of k. So again, we have 3 different terms. So this would be trinomials. And again, beyond that, you can call polynomials. So all of these are polynomials, but since these are the common polynomials that we deal with when we study, so we have given them specific names. One common type of questions that you can expect in your exams is giving examples based on the combination of polynomials, based on this classification on number of terms, and based on the classification of degrees. For example, they might ask you, write a polynomial which is a monomial and has a degree of 2. So the power of variable should be 2 and it should have one term. So it can be 4x square, m square, z square, anything like this. Similarly, they might ask you, write a example of a polynomial that is a trinomial and is a quadratic, which means degree is equal to 2. So this means the degree is 2 and it has 3 terms. So this example can be x square plus 3x plus 9. Number of terms are equal to 3 and the highest available power of the variable is 2. So you can expect such questions in your exams, but I think after getting a good idea about what these polynomials are, how are they classified based on degrees and number of terms, you can definitely solve such questions.